Yo, this is Deontay the Bronx Bomber Wild, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I'd like to give a big shout out to CJ Goodfellow of Sports TV. Bomb Squad, baby.
All right, man. I guess a lot of people don't know this story. And I talked about it last year, or maybe a couple years ago, about how Anthony Joshua became champion or IBF title holder of the world, whichever one floats your boat, because of Al Haymon. Okay, a lot of people on Twitter, there's a thread going around, and I think a lot of people don't know what happened. And also, I talk a little bit about Dillian White. All right, basically, Wilder won WBC belt vacated by Vitaly. All right, Billy, however the fuck you said. Matter of fact, Bermane Stiverne won the title. Right, he had 2 fights with Chris Arreola. All right, he beat Chris Arreola, 2 good fights. All right. Then he ended up fighting Wilder, right? So Wilder actually beat a champion for his belt. However you want to say it, Bermane Stiverne is a very accomplished amateur background, all right? Very accomplished. I think a lot of people don't know that. He has some, how can I say it, man? He had a down fight versus Ray Austin. Ray Austin about 150. And he didn't look that good on HBO, but he turned up. And I had Bermane Stiverne beating Wilder. Wilder, a lot of people wasn't riding with Wilder back then because you remember the Phantom Punch by Malik Scott, and people really, Wilder was just being babysat. And we hadn't really seen a fighter being babysat like that or taking as many small steps in a long time. Mike Tyson took a lot of small steps. That was like the last heavyweight that I can remember that was moved. But remember, Deontay Wilder was much older than Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. Now, obviously, Mike Tyson didn't medal, and Wilder did, but he was younger. But Mike Tyson was a grown man at 14, 15, 16. All right? But that's nor here nor there. All right, Wilder beats Stiverne. He shows everybody he can go all 12. I was shocked. Not going to say it. Now, everybody wasn't riding with Wilder. Wilder legitimately blossomed into a heavyweight champion before our eyes, okay? I will give him that. And, what happened was Tyson Fury, first belt he was stripped of, guess what it was? It was the IBF belt. He was stripped of that belt first. All right, a lot of people don't remember. And before he fought Vladimir Klitschko, this is going to be a real in-detail video. I might forget some little small details here and there. But before he fought Vladimir Klitschko, the UCAT was already aware that he had flunked a drug test. Him and Huey Fury. They flunked a drug test for the exact same drug. All right, I don't know, I can't remember how it was pronounced or what it was. But they said they excused down the road ended up being an 8 wild boar. So during the time, we was wondering, like, why is Tyson Fury trying to, after he beat Vladimir, why is he trying to duck Vladimir Klitschko? He beat him. You know what I'm saying? He beat him convincingly to me. It was a sloppy fight. It's probably one of the worst heavyweight title fights you will see, along with David Haye capped himself and Vladimir Klitschko. Okay? I'm like, man, why is this dude don't want to fight? You know what I'm saying? He going around in his mink and stuff. And he ended up saying, well, he had a relapse he relapsed on drugs and liquor. Which the main case was the UCAT already had notified him that he was busted for a test. So he went into a 2-year hiatus, but the first belt they stripped him of was the IBF. The last belt, the invisible belt, kind of, since Golden Boy bought ring, is the reason it's not considered lineal no more, or it's a real title because Golden Boy has a promotional company, was the ring belt. He was stripped of the ring belt the year he fought Wilder, I believe, before he came back. Okay? So, he was stripped of the IBF first. So, a guy, I can't pronounce the dude's name, Glozwowski, I'm just going to call him that. It was a G with an Alki on the end of it. He was ordered to fight Charles Martin. A lot of us didn't know who the hell Charles Martin was. Guys like Mr. Boxing Today, he knew who Charles Martin was. I can bet you on him. So, him and Glozwowski got to fighting. It was on HBO. I'll never forget it. I don't remember what card it was on, but I won't forget that fight. And in the first round, they kind of banged it out. It was, couldn't really tell. I think the second round, Glozwowski blew out his ACL or whatever it was. He blew out his ACL. And I remember Max Kellerman interviewing Charles Martin. He was like, that's just the type of power I got. You see, when I hit him, his knee went out. That's my power I got. And I was dying laughing because he kind of hit him on like the chest or the shoulder or some stuff. And Max was like, you really didn't hit on his chin. He was like, well, when I hit you on the body, that's what I can do to you. I'm paraphrasing. So Martin became the IBF belt holder off a blown out knee. Now, Charles Martin is an Al Haymon fighter. Now, before we get to Charles Martin, Al Haymon and them and Golden Boy was pushing another particular heavyweight. The heavyweight they was pushing harder than Wilder was a guy named Seth Mitchell. Seth Mitchell was meant to be everything Wilder was at this point. Seth Mitchell was a late blossom, a guy too. He was a late fighter to the sport. He went to Michigan State University, and you know he had good skills for coming to the game late. But they was pushing him tough. They come to find out somebody rocked his jaw. It was a prominent heavyweight. It was a heavyweight I can remember, but I know I can't remember. Somebody ended up hurting him in a fight. A few fights down the road on HBO, he ended up getting clipped on the jaw by Jonathan Banks. He knocked him out. Then he fought Jonathan Banks again, and he made it 12, but he was still getting hurt. Then, as you know, he was running from, like Forrest Gump, he was running from Chris Ariola, and Ariola ended up knocking Seth Mitchell out, and that was the end of his career. But Seth Mitchell was the guy that was pushing hard, you know, and he had less experience, I believe, than Wilder did, because he was a football player that suffered an injury and made him go to boxing. So that was the end of him. So, hence, we go into Charles Martin, the guy that had really zero push, and Eddie Hearn offered him a whopping like $7 million to fight Anthony Joshua. All right? So, around this time, I gotta say, maybe PBC was just starting up or something like that, or maybe a little bit before it was starting up. But this will be the beginning of a pretty much good term working relationship between Eddie and Al Haymon. All right? Charles Martin went over there selling wolf tickets, saying I walked this earth like a god. Eddie Hearn paid him $7 million to basically sell his belt to AJ, and he went over there and got beaten like a round or two. I think he might have been around. And Al Haymon gift wrapped the IBF belt to Anthony Joshua. Now people saying, well, you know, that's $7 million. Then at the end of the day, the same money that Peter Quillen was offered, and it wasn't $7 million. I can't remember what the purse bid was for him and Corby. Al paid him not to take the fight. Right? Deontay Wilder was offered $100 million from DAZN and Eddie Hearn, even though him and Eddie was clashing heads at the time. And I'll get to where they relationship soured at. It was a different circumstance, but he's offered $100 and $120 million for DAZN. DAZN said they dropped the ball on the fight. Whatever, you know. You had numerous PBC fights. Tank was offered $5 to $7 million to jump over there and fight Tevin Farmer on his own. See, what I'm getting at is, and also Jamal may turn down a $7 million offer to fight Eddie. I mean to fight, not Eddie, but from Eddie Hearn to fight Demetrius Andrade. Okay? But the relationship soured between Al and Eddie. This is a different time. Al Haymon was operating in good faith. He like, basically, this is good money. This is a good deal. So basically, instead of making Wilder a unified champion, and we don't have this A side, B side, or AJ need to come to the UK, Al Haymon didn't predict that Eddie Hearn would flip and become a pilgrim, become a rival. Al Haymon was trying to, you know, let Eddie Hearn into his business and get this money. You know? And they ended up making a lot of fights, but he ended up sending Charles Martin in good faith to the pilgrim Eddie Hearn, and Charles Martin went over there and made $7 million. When if you'd have had the selfish mindset, if he had the mindset he had now, he should have ran over Charles Martin to Wilder. Wilder would have been the IBF WBC unified title holder, and the division would have looked a lot different. Now, would have Wilder got those fights versus, you know, Joseph Parker and Vladimir Klitschko, I'm not sure if he would have took those fights or got those fights, or would AJ would have to go out there, and get those fights. As far as would AJ had to go out there and get the Joseph Parker fight. Still, when he first beat Andy Ruiz, but AJ had to go out there and fight Luis Ortiz, or finesse Luis Ortiz and fight Vladimir Klitschko. We could play a lot of if was the fifths out here. All right. So AJ would have had a different type of path to getting titles. You know, but Al Haymon and Eddie Hearn was working in good faith then. That's the difference. They was working in good faith. What happened was Al Haymon had a lot of money when he started PBC. You know, a lot of people don't remember. Jamie McDowell, the UK fighter, he came over to fight Kamada, guy from Japan. I liked the way he fought. And they fought in Corpus Christi, Texas, I think on a Figueroa card. All right. And McDowell ended up winning. You know, I thought Kamada could have won that fight. And then around that time they ended up making Kell Brook, Sean Porter. I mean he sent Errol Spence over to fight Kell Brook, and they made some fights happen. You know, Al Haymon, you know, let Kell Brook get a decision. He let Jamie McDowell get a decision. He did right by Eddie Hearn and his fighters. He really did. He even sent Errol Spence to Sheffield when he could have won that purse bid, and Kell Brook could have had to come to America and defend his belt. But Eddie Hearn flipped on him when the zone came along, and Eddie Hearn seen the opportunity. He had $1 billion backing, which seemed to be more factual than not more than ever. He got a big backing. It may not be $1 billion backing, but he got a huge financial backing where he can, you know, sign a lot of fighters. So he started trying to sign Al Haymon fighters. That's kind of like, yo, man, you bring a girl around and you tell your man, I like this girl, it's my girl, whatever, right? You go to the bathroom and he trying to get at your girl. You know what I'm saying? You go upstairs and, you know, what you do, change clothes, and they down the show, he trying to hit on your girl. That's what Eddie Hearn was doing. So Al Haymon like, man, I thought this was my man's. You know what I'm saying? I'm working with this dude. We on a good business level. We can eat together. I can help him out in the UK. I can help him put him on in America. But no, Eddie Hearn wanted to be the guy. Eddie Hearn said, I got more money than Al. That means I can overpower Al. I can take Al fighters. But what he didn't calculate was the endearment and the love that the fighters had with Al Haymon. And people said, well, they don't have a deal. Al Haymon was on some Suge Knight, shake my hand, that's my word, that's my contract deal. And he didn't understand how deep the bond goes with Al Haymon. A lot of these fighters have been through the ringer with other promoters. Deontay was with Golden Boy. Adnan Mares was with Golden Boy, said he wasn't making no money living in his car. A lot of these guys have been through the ringer. Danny Garcia, he was the underdog doing the Chitlin circuit. And a lot of these dudes was good amateur fighters. And Al Haymon was putting them on. Adrian Broner said he was in jail since he was 14 and 15. You know, and didn't really have an amateur career after that, and Al still put him on. So Al Haymon do a lot for these fighters, man. And like I said before, I don't have nothing against Al, the man. Al, the business boxing for the boxer. As a fan, I'm speaking as a fan. When I say he bad for fandom, for the fights being seen. But when you talk about if my nephew or brother, cousin, or whatever male immediate family I got, I want them to sign with Al because he's not going to fuck you over on the contract. You know, you may not have a regular fighting schedule, but you're going to eat. And when these dudes get in trouble or they money get funny or legal trouble, Al Haymon take care of all of that. Eddie Hearn not going to do that for you. Eddie Hearn didn't build up enough clout, you know what I'm saying, for that. He didn't build up that relationship. You think a whole bunch of brothers that a brother doing right by them and they gonna go to a white man from another country? Not gonna happen. Now, if they free agents and you throwing all this money at them, yeah. But when they get to experience the Al Haymon experience, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard. It's like crack. Once you get to smoking crack and somebody just say, hey man, or you gotta stop smoking crack. Man, that gotta be some type of willpower. And pretty much Al Haymon like crack. He good to them boys over there. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happened. Al Haymon made one bad move that cost him half of the heavyweight division. That was the difference. And also what made it a bad move was Tyson Fury going, you know, dropping all the belts. Because Fury and Wilder would have fought. Fury wasn't scared to come to America because he had already came over to fight Steve Cunningham. You know, but that's kind of where it went bad at. And people said 7 million, but look how Al Haymon mindset has changed now. If Al Haymon now can talk to Al Haymon today, then in the past, you would have a different situation. You really would. You would have a entirely different situation because he know what Eddie Hearn is. Eddie Hearn is a snake. He a pilgrim. He tried to backdoor him. Now, if Al knew back then what he knew now, you know, Wilder would be unified champion. You know, but, you know, long story short, he tried to take some of his fighters, backdoor him, and take them to the zone. He really couldn't get nobody but Danny Jacobs and Jesse Vargas. He got the B or the C team. And since then, you know, since Bob crossed him, since Eddie crossed him, I mean, Frank Warren to a certain extent crossed him. Not Al like Thanos. You know what I'm saying? This is why Al don't do business. Unless the fighter say, hey man, I want that fight. Yeah, that's why you're getting Wilder and Fury. Because he really, really want that fight. You know, but that's what it is. Wilder could have been unified champion. But Al was still operating in good faith. WBO sued him. Oscar sued him. Bob got in on the suit. Eddie Hearn turned on him. Frank Warren turned around and he showed love to Frank Warren. He turned around and ended up working with Bob Arum, ESPN, but BT Sports is ESPN in the UK, I believe. So that's it, man. So I mean, you see where Wilder where kind of the stuff started from. Wilder wasn't the ace in the bullpen, and people that watch boxing only knew this. I can go in detail into like why Bob and Al don't mix. I can tell you why Bob and Al don't mix. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to hear the Cold War video, like let me know in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you all of that. Ain't nobody breaking it down like me. Only a select few, because I was watching it. You know, I was a fan before anything. You know, but that's what happened. You know, that's exactly what happened with the situation, man. And you know, that's why Al don't trust nobody. You know, and I don't think he believed in Deontay Wilder neither. A lot of people didn't believe in Wilder. And all these people saying they Wilder fans, nobody believed in Wilder. Like that. Wilder became something that nobody could foresee. Yep, nobody foreseen Wilder becoming what he became. And I think that kind of factored into, you know, Al sending Charles Martin over there to fight Anthony Joshua. But I mean, other than that, I'll talk about Dillian White in another video, man. Maybe if I'm healthy enough to go live next week. Dillian White has been going at Wilder on social media, but I don't think this is the correct video to finish it up on. But let me know what y'all think, man, about the video. Y'all want to hear the Cold War video about how it all really originated between, you know, Al and Bob, the original Cold War, and we thought it was over, but it's just manifesting to more players and another war coming on in the boxing world. But I can never really doubt Al Haymon, man. I can really never doubt. I can when I look at it from a business standpoint, I understood that. But had he had that same mindset today, that he had that mindset today, that if he got that mindset today back then, Wilder would be the unified champion. If Tyson Fury never failed the drug test or never pulled out and dropped his belt, however you want to look at it, then you never know. Fury and Wilder would have already had undisputed. But it is what it is, man. Goodfellas Sports TV. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation, just share the video, put the information in the description if you want to make a donation. Man, people be walking across the street like they can't get hit. And they be staring at you. You ain't gonna hit me. I don't want to hit you. But appreciate it, man. And just let me know what y'all think about the video, man. I'm going to keep putting it down the best way I know how. Share the video. And any questions, just hit me up, man. Comment section, I'm trying to get to it, man. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but getting better day by day. Share the video. We gone.